Deep at the base of the majestic Mount Fuji lies a place shrouded in mystery and legend, Aokigahara Forest. Known locally as the Sea of Trees, this dense woodland stretches across the northwest base of the sacred mountain, a sprawling expanse where sunlight struggles to reach the forest floor through an almost impenetrable canopy. The forest's quiet stillness is occasionally broken only by an eerie silence that seems to engulf the very air. Over centuries, Aokigahara has acquired a reputation that blends natural beauty with unsettling folklore, giving rise to an enigmatic aura that has intrigued and unsettled locals and visitors alike. For generations, the dense woods of Aokigahara have been entwined with Japan's spiritual and cultural imagination. Local legends portray the forest as more than just a collection of trees. It is said to serve as a spiritual threshold, a liminal space where the boundaries between the living world and the supernatural blur. According to ancient tales passed down through whispered stories, the forest is home to restless spirits and yurei, ghostly apparitions believed to be souls trapped between worlds. It is rumored that these spirits wander the forest's winding paths, their spectral presence felt by those who dare to venture deep inside. One of the most compelling stories claims that Aokigahara is haunted by the supernatural forces of Ubasut, an old folklore practice describing the abandonment of the elderly in remote places. Though historians debate the practice's historical reality, the legend lends a deeply somber air to the forest. It is said that the anguished souls of those left behind still roam the shadows, their sorrow weaving through the branches, creating a spiritual barrier that unsettles the living. These tales have painted Aokigahara as a place where invisible energies linger and the natural world merges uncannily with the supernatural. The forest's eerie silence, sometimes called a deathly quietness, adds to its mystique. Scientists have speculated that the unusually quiet atmosphere is due to a lack of wildlife and the way sound travels through the dense woods. Yet, within local lore, this silence is often viewed as the forest holding its breath, as if in respect or warning of the spirits waiting beneath the foliage. Visitors to Aokigahara frequently recount unsettling experiences, disorienting labyrinthine trails that seem to twist endlessly, sudden chills in the air, and strange feelings of unease. The tales say that those who enter the forest might feel the weight of unseen eyes watching them, a sensation that lingers long after they leave. While skeptics dismiss these stories as folklore or the natural effects of an unfamiliar environment, the pervasive aura of mystery remains undeniable. The reputation of Aokigahara has evolved further in recent decades, becoming a subject of international attention because of its darker associations. Yet, despite or perhaps because of this notoriety, the forest retains an almost sacred status among local residents. Pilgrims visit shrines found at the forest's edges, offering prayers for the dead and seeking protection from the spirits said to dwell within. The deep connection between Aokigahara Forest and ancient Japanese beliefs about spirits is woven into the fabric of the culture surrounding the region. In traditional folklore, forests were often seen as places where the veil between the physical world and the spiritual realm was thin, allowing ghosts and yurei, restless souls unable to find peace, to linger. It was believed that these spirits could be bound to particular locations, especially remote, silent places like dense woods, where their presence might influence the living in subtle, unsettling ways. In the case of Aokigahara, the forest's almost oppressive silence and tangled, confusing trails have long contributed to its reputation as a domain inhabited by things beyond human understanding. Local legend holds that the souls of those who suffered tragic or violent deaths become yurei, unable to move on due to unfinished business or lingering pain. Stories passed down through generations suggest countless restless spirits roam the forest, their murmurs carried faintly on the wind or glimpsed in fleeting shadows. One enduring tale speaks of the Ubasut, the supposed practice of abandoning elderly relatives in remote places to die, a story whose historicity remains debated, but that has become an inseparable part of the forest mythos. Despite historians' uncertainty about whether Ubasut ever truly happened, the legend endures, embodying the sadness, fear, and reverence the Japanese have for death and aging. Another widely told story involves the Jukai, or Sea of Trees, as a space both sacred and menacing. It is said that the forest is hallowed ground, a natural shrine where the spiritual energy of Mount Fuji mingles with the ancient earth. In this interpretation, the forest is not merely a haunted place, but a sacred one, deserving respect and caution. The same dense foliage that confuses travelers and muffles sound is seen as a shield guarding the spiritual sanctity of a land. Those who enter with reverence and humility may even experience moments of profound connection or insight. Throughout history, the folklore surrounding Aokigahara has evolved, shaped by local customs, Buddhist beliefs, and Shinto traditions, all of which emphasize harmony with nature and respect for the deceased. Shrines at the edges of the forest are frequently visited by pilgrims who come to pray for their ancestors or the souls said to linger inside. These shrines reinforce the perception of the forest as a sacred site, a place where the worlds intersect, simultaneously inviting and forbidding. While none of these stories can be proven scientifically, their power lies in their persistence and their effect on those who live near or travel through the forest. The legends shape how individuals view Aokigahara, sometimes as a mysterious spiritual threshold, other times as a place of sorrow and warning. Folklore paints it as a realm where natural beauty and supernatural mystery are inseparably entwined, casting a shadow of both awe and apprehension. It is this dual nature, sacred but ominous, that continues to fuel fascination with Aokigahara, inspiring countless stories that blur the line between fear and respect, legend and reality. The mystique of Aokigahara Forest continues to captivate and confound those who seek to understand its spiritual reputation. What makes this dense woodland so uniquely charged with supernatural energy is not simply the accumulation of eerie stories or tragic history, but rather the interplay between folklore, rumor, and the forest's own enigmatic atmosphere. The unresolved nature of these tales adds layers of complexity to how the forest is perceived, reminding us that some mysteries resist definitive explanation. Local narratives often blend spiritual belief with the natural traits of Aokigahara in a way that deepens its haunting presence. The forest's muted silence, sometimes described as a deathly hush, is more than just a scientific curiosity. It becomes a part of the folklore itself. It is said that the forest quiet is not merely the absence of sound, but a presence in itself, an unseen force that watches and waits. This narrative, passed from generation to generation, shapes how visitors experience the forest, priming them to sense something beyond the tangible. Even though skeptics attribute the silence to the forest's unique geology and dense undergrowth, many still recount feelings of unease or a chilling sensation when wandering beneath the canopy. The dense trees, intricate lava formations, and deceptive trails create a labyrinth that can disorient and trap, fueling the idea that Aokigahara is a space where normal rules falter. This physical disorientation intertwines with spiritual stories, creating a feedback loop where the environment validates the legend, and the legend animates the environment. Whispered rumors add another layer to the forest's enigma, often focusing on encounters with ghostly figures or inexplicable sounds. These anecdotes, while impossible to verify, feed the collective imagination about Aokigahara's spiritual dimensions. They suggest that the forest is a living entity, communicating through subtle signs and sensations. Whether these experiences arise from cultural conditioning or something more elusive remains an unresolved question. Culturally, the power of storytelling is crucial in keeping these mysteries alive. Aokigahara's reputation is maintained through media, oral traditions, and pilgrimages, all of which reinforce the belief in its spiritual potency. The forest serves as a mirror reflecting Japan's complex relationship with death, nature, and the supernatural. This dynamic is not unique to Aokigahara, but is part of a global pattern where certain places become charged with cultural meaning beyond their physical characteristics. What stands out about Aokigahara is how its stories remain open-ended, never fully explained or dispelled. The forest's spiritual reputation resists being pinned down by fact or fiction. Instead, it thrives in the space between, where myth meets landscape and silence speaks louder than words. This unresolved quality invites each visitor to bring their own interpretation, contributing to the ever-evolving legend. In a world increasingly dominated by scientific rationalism, the enduring allure of places like Aokigahara reminds us of the human need for mystery and meaning. These sites offer a unique intersection between visible nature and invisible stories, where cultural narratives shape perception as powerfully as reality does.